Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Excellent jam, Suwaib.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do de. Luta mo nulo jel mo to nga andil mahalis. Hello?
Busol mo fine.
What?
Busol mo fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave. Busol mo fine? Wave. Your money is yours.
Now, on the 8th of this month, about 9 days ago, it was a Tuesday, Sheriff Janha came on the program to declare that nothing currently works in the Gambia, especially for young people like himself. Despite being on for nearly half an hour, 28 minutes to be precise, the NUPAC activist insisted after the program that I didn't give him enough time to fully elaborate on some of the key points he had come to the program with. NUPAC, by the way, stands for Nurturing Patriotic Citizens, and it is a youth-led endeavor. So we have Sheriff back. Actually, he sent me a reaction from one of his friends who was listening to my conversation with him. I'll read you what the friend said. Overall, you did express understanding of internationalism and established global order. But the question I feel Peter failed to ask you was, how can Gambia be emancipated from those structural forces to spur wholesale development? Sheriff, welcome back.
Thank you very much, Uncle Peter.
Fantastic.
Good to be back.
I must ask, I mean, I always see you wearing a scarf. What's the reason?
Yeah, I think I can see since I was upper basic school, I was putting on scarf. And I don't know whether I took it from my dad. I don't know. But
well, was your dad wearing scarves everywhere?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay, fantastic. Listen, you have 10 minutes.
Okay, no
all
problem.
right, to talk about these structural forces and how the Gambia can be emancipated from these structural forces.
Sure.
I'm sure you, as you sat out there waiting to be invited in, you hear me talk about the Gambia expecting funding from the IMF and the ECOWAS Bank for
I even jumped from where I was
Investment
sitting.
and Development. Okay, let's talk about
structural
forces.
I want to start by saying the development of any country is in exact proportion to the type of leadership, political leadership in power, the productive capacity of the economy, and also the capacity of the collective individual or the citizens to work together to achieve a particular goal. Now, if we look at development itself, by that principle, we'll understand that development is not exogenous. It is endogenous. It must spring out or emerge from the minds, hearts, and the will of the people, factoring out their strength, resources available, and also their sovereignty. And in that nutshell will give us another principle which says that the development of any country, especially its policies, must always be centered in the capacity, expectation, and needs of the people, and not imposed by any force outside the country. Because when forces impose policies, especially production policies and development policies, there will always be a consequence in those policies, because it's usually not narrowed down to satisfy the interests or the needs of the people. Usually, when you see that, you'll find that the needs of the people are usually unmet.
Is the Gambia having policies imposed on it by outside forces?
Okay.
And if yes, who is doing this?
Let's say our production policy. Because if you look at our production policy, we are designed to ensure we produce and export cash crop. Because these are the crops that are needed by the Western world for their industrialization, and we import things that are of their product. And usually that will create the external imbalances you will see.
Trade imbalance.
That is the trade imbalance. And usually when you have the trade imbalance, you will always have your current account in deficits. And there's also repercussion in that.
Well, it depends. If you're sending out more than you are bringing in, the imbalance would be in your favor.
That's what I'm saying, but we are not doing that. So that's why it's against our favor. So the other one is, if you look at the other part, because the productive capacity of the economy is not built, then you will have the mass unemployment in place, and you will see mass immigration of the unemployed youth, and also the brain drain that is going to happen in this country, which is going to bring down the
I think
overall.
You ably discussed this in a previous program, which is available on YouTube, and it is available to people who have because the issue here is, I didn't ask you to tell us how the Gambia can emancipate itself from the structural forces. So let's answer this question.
Yes, I'm laying the foundation.
We
for
may
that.
not have all the time.
Okay,
yes.
now the point is this: we need the structural readjustment to take place. What are the structural readjustment that must take place? One, we must reverse. Instead of building an agricultural sector which is based on exporting cash crop, we build an agriculture that is based on producing the food crops we need, because we need food sovereignty. And in doing so, having our food sovereignty, we need energy sovereignty. Because if you look at, you are importing oil, that is petrol, and you have the potential enough, because the sun is here, to have a clean energy that does not make the government or the country to depend on the energy outside. Because whenever there's an energy crisis, we'll always feel it internal. So that must be there.
So one, grow all the food you consume. Two, harness the potential of the sun.
Yes.
To produce all your energy needs.
Yes. And the other one is, you must have the leadership to bring that in power. And the leadership, when you talk about leadership, we're talking about an influence, a group of people or institution that influence the behavior, the attitude, the thoughts of the people to ensure the vision that is required to be achieved.
Is that not government?
We are talking about the leadership.
I'm saying yes. Is that leadership not government then?
Yes.
Is it not what we call government?
Yes, it's what we call government. That is a government that is to inspire that. Okay. That is to influence the people toward that. And also the governance structure must change. Because if the governance structure doesn't change, let me take an example. If I am in Kuntawur and taxes are collected from the people in Kuntawur, and the taxes are not also plowed back to the people of Kuntawur, then what happened in Kuntawur? Massive poverty in Kuntawur will happen, because the governance structure is not tailored down to satisfy the needs of the people.
So municipalities, local government areas,
all
local
those
councils,
things should
whatever you call them, they have a share in the poverty of people.
Yes, what we should do is this: we must have, at the village level, we must have an executive council at the village level. We must have a national, let's say, a village assembly that will be responsible to decide the affairs of the village. We move from there. We have.
Is that not what is called the VDC?
No, we are okay. When you talk about the VDC, that is the Village Development Committee.
Yeah. Is that not what it does?
No, we are talking about a governance structure. This is a governance structure where in the village, everything that is responsible for development of the village, they have the plan for the village, and everything, we need to have that.
That's what I'm saying. Is that not the role of the VDC? Village Development Committees are supposed to be that. This village, you're calling it a village executive.
Yeah, we're executive council and also a village assembly, where everything, as far as the development of the village is concerned, is discussed. Just like at the national level, where you have the National Assembly and also the other arms of government should be tailored down at the village.
And you would still keep the VDC in place?
No, we don't need VDC in there.
Yeah, okay.
VDC is not needed there.
So you're saying the village executive would supersede the village development?
The village to ensure all the taxes that are collected in the village. You have the village treasury that is responsible to manage, make the decisions that are necessary for the development of the village. You move that extension to the districts, where we also have the district executive council, where we don't even need maybe CFOs or whatever, but we need
we don't need CFOs?
No, we don't need them. What we need is a district executive council, and a district assembly where all the villages emerge to discuss the affairs of the village. You move from there, you take it to the regional executive council, and also you talk about the regional assembly where everything as far as the development of the region is concerned.
At regional level, would you still keep the governors in place?
No, we don't need them.
You'll get rid of the governors.
All of them will go out. And so now you move to the national level where we have now, we will not have politics to be used as a means to use as a patronage to get these people voting. At the end of the day, their lives are not changed or improved. So this is the entire.
But would you still have a president presiding?
Yes, you will still have a president presiding all that. But still, we want the decentralization in that form, because that is the only thing that can make people to reflect their development, to do it by themselves, and not to depend on anybody or wait for anybody to come and do development for themselves, because they already have the tools, the mechanism necessary to ensure they perpetuate their own development. But so as long as that is missing, then you will have a problem as far as the economy is concerned, because their capacity for collective action will be missing. Because they will be divided among political lines, our ethnic lines, among so many religious lines or whatever line they will be divided on, because they are no more seeing themselves as a collective individual working together for the advancement of their own community. And if it's absent, then the village will be divided, and then when they divide, they cannot stand to do anything for themselves, and they will be used as tools for political gains.
Your group is called Nurturing Patriotic Citizens. Do you think the Gambia already has the requisite human resource, personnel, to make your structure, as you just formulated it here, work in the Gambia? Get rid of the Sefolu, get rid of the governors, get rid of village development committees, set up these village executives and district executives, and, everything just points bottom up to the president.
Yes, so that's why I'm coming to the economic part, because you need the resources to do that.
How much time do you need for that? Because I have only 2 minutes remaining for you.
Okay, let me just say it like this, in a nutshell. That is to say, there are certain economic policies that needs to be put in place. One, we must have the country having an investment bank, development bank. We must have the country.
That's coming.
Yes, an investment and development bank.
That is coming. The governor of the central bank has promised that is on its way.
Yes, we must have, and the development bank and the investment bank must be controlled by the government and the people of this country. We must also have the privatization of the increased investment in the public sector to ensure that public sector.
So put more money into Gamtel.
Yes, to ensure they are revitalized to compete with other giants, because we already have these telecoms competing with NAWEC. So NAWEC should be empowered to ensure.
Did you say NAWEC?
I want to say Gamtel and Gamcel should be empowered to ensure they will be able to compete with these people.
And what about NAWEC? I mean, we have poured so much money into NAWEC. Should we keep pouring money into NAWEC?
That's why the other day I tell you, NAWEC, we must open up the market so that others will come in to compete with NAWEC, for NAWEC to be able to see that I have a competitor, so I need to improve my service, so we don't need to pump any more money into NAWEC. It's just a matter of having a good management in place to ensure the resources needed in NAWEC is harnessed and put into best use to ensure the service required is given to the Gambian people.
And finally?
Finally, what I want to conclude with is we have a take in the development of this country. And so as long as that is concerned, we must put in place strategies to ensure the youth of this country actively involved in the development of this country, trickle down into the village, and ensure we all come together collectively and then build the structure that is needed for the emancipation of this country from the outside forces that are keeping us still under their hegemony to keep us control and dictate what we should do and what we shouldn't do.
Sheriff, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much.
In case you missed it, with tomorrow Friday, the 18th, and next Monday, the 21st of April, almost certain to be declared public holidays across the Gambia in celebration of Easter, this is our last program for the week. We won't be here tomorrow, and we will resume next week, not on Monday, but on Tuesday, because the team, has to enjoy Good Friday and Easter Monday.
One thing,
that
is we commemorating the Republic Day on the 24th, at the Gambia College, so we're inviting the general public to attend. Thank you very much.
You must find a way of coming in there. All right, thank you very much for listening to today's program. Enjoy your Easter break. We're off. We're coming back only on Tuesday.
Excellent jam, Suway.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do dede. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bisul mu fay.
What?
Bisul mu fine. Wave Acts Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. Ak Wave. Bustle mu fine? Wave. Your money is yours.
Janha Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Janha Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.